that's not true. She looked great. She looked the best. She did not, but she was wearing them. She has it coming. But being like, when I get into it, like before, when I was going into the third season of Glow, because you're gonna sit around and eat all the time on set. That's all you fucking do. Craft services, whatever. Oh, there's a cake. It's like, what? Dessert at every meal. And I don't know what is it with gaffers and crew people? They can just eat cake and ice cream with every fucking meal.
Every meal.
What is that?
I don't know.
And you think like, why can't I do that? Because you can't. Yeah, they burn it off.
They're fucking picking shit up all day.
Yeah, they're not just sitting in a chair with their name on it, waiting to say three things in an outfit that isn't theirs.
Yeah.
True. But it's great, the pants are fitting. I got a little leeway to eat. And I look at that season, I look like I had cancer.
Really?
Well, oh yeah. Look at season 3 of Glow. My fingers are bony. And no one said nothing that I lost that much weight.
The fucked up thing about weight, whether you're up or down, and you are the one that goes, God, I was skinny. Then everyone will be like, yeah, man, we were going to say something. You're like, well, then fucking say it.
Yeah, it's the same with dating crazy people.
Yeah,
right. Yeah. Like, that chick was fucking nuts.
We all knew that.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Yeah, and
I'm your best friend, and I thought that.
Yeah.
But I just didn't have to say it.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Friends, man.
I just didn't want to, interfere. You don't want to, it's like it's your shit. We don't want to get involved. It's not cool.
Okay. But this means to exist as a human being in an authentic relationship as mortals to earth and sky, to the divinities present or absent, to things and plants and animals. It means to let each of these be. Daniel. Yes, I saw the Michael and I wasn't sure.
How are you?
Good. A lot has been happening. I have to definitely talk to you about it because it's been nuts.
It's been nuts too. Don't you worry about that. I'm gonna be eating. I apologize, but I'm a little nauseous.
You look fucking good, man.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I feel like crap.
You look a lot more fit.
Really? Oh, wow. I think it's just because I haven't been eating a lot. I just been in a lot of pain lately. It's been really bad with that. So I just haven't been eating a lot, but I appreciate that. I'm happy I lost some weight though.
Dude, yeah. I was actually listening to like a podcast and they were like joking around about how when you start to lose weight, there's like a line where you get over and you feel really good, but people around you are like, are you okay? Have you been eating right? But you feel you feel like awesome. But
so what's been going on with you on your end?
Well, I had to intake. It was actually, kind of embarrassing to like talk about, but I went into the hospital last night because I smoked way too much like weed and had one of those moments where I was like, I'm gonna die. Like I didn't know what. Yeah. Well, because I was in Santa Cruz, just on the on the mission, on the like trying to like meet people and just like hang out and have fun. Like I go like trying to have an edifying experience. Like if I go out with friends, you just want to be in like, it's almost like communion. You just want to be in communion with other people, and it sometimes like warps and turns into something like that you don't want in your life. So I think good can come from anything, but it was just like not the funnest. But yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. Actually, that's something I get all the time because I smoke weed too. And that's something like people will like, not people, but a lot of Christians will jump on. And they think, oh, like, it's like people are so quick to judge, they don't understand what they should be judging, which is themselves, technically. Because you got to correct yourself and, you know, into an image of God, which is a whole different subject, which I'll get into later. But
Sure.
Weed is a big thing people like to jump on when alcohol is 10 times worse. And it's not really, it can be a sin. Most of the time it can be, but in certain situations it's not.
Do you think that has to do with alcohol as being socially acceptable, or do you think it has to do with because there is a feeling of like normal, like after like I've only drank like a handful of, like, I don't like drinking in just essentially, but like when I have, it's been like you wake up and you still feel like connected with the people around you. But sometimes if you smoke something else, like if you smoke like too much or you smoke something else, you're like, you wake up with this sense of like, it's like dread, like you had like it's almost like no one wants to talk about like, it's like,
how long have you been smoking? Do you smoke every day?
No. I'm just trying to understand like the social like dimension of like what people think about it, like when they.
So you just smoked for like the first time, or like?
Well, no, I've smoked the first time like when I was like 15. I've smoked probably like I've gotten high to the point of having like an actual like crazy experience 3 times, and last night was one of them. Yeah.
See, and here's the thing.
And
I just assumed that you smoked every day, to be honest.
Right.
But here's the thing. When you smoke every day for a certain amount of time, weed doesn't affect you the same way. I've been smoking all day, and it will never get me to the point where I'm like cracked out or whatever.
Right, crazy.
It just doesn't affect you the same way after so long. And that's something people don't realize. Alcohol is always going to get you drunk and always get you like, not in the same complete mental state. I can smoke weed all day and do whatever I have to do because I'm not out of my, my comfort zone in a sense. I'm still in the same state of mind.
Right.
I might get a little bit giggly and everything, but it doesn't change your overall mentality, to be honest.
Right. That's been my positive, like the more positive experiences have been when it just gets me like high enough to start giggling. That's like that's like my measure of like a good high is when I'm just like at every fucking.
St. Paul says that. He says, drink regarding alcohol, drink until you get happy. He says that. And I think Acts of the Apostles.
Yeah, that actually makes sense to me. That's good. That's good. That's smart. Yeah.
So I got a couple of things to tell you though, if you're up for hearing it.
Sure. And anything on the apostles, I'm kind of interested in them recently, but yeah, whatever you want to talk about.
So, okay. So I've been going through a lot of spiritual stuff. So I just want to update you on everything. Can you hear me okay and everything?
Yes.
Okay. So I started reading. Okay. So how did this start? So I basically was reading the Holy Scriptures, reading the Bible. And I said, okay, I really got to get cracking on the saints. Because I read I don't know. I didn't read a lot on the saints, like there was a lot to learn. And basically I read the main saints like lives. I already read them in the past, but I caught up with the saints lives, like a lot, like Saint Thomas Aquinas, not Thomas Aquinas. Saint.
You use the internet or like a archive to
like if you type in like Saint John the Baptist and you type in Orthodox or Catholic, it'll point you to a reliable Catholic or Orthodox site and you can read about their lives. But the good thing is the Orthodox Church, they have more info on the certain saints. And I swear I can't swear technically, but I promise you, I don't learn this stuff in the Catholic Church. I studied under a priest. I was going to go to a college seminary, have taken plenty of Catholic seminary classes. They don't teach you about the saints in an in-depth manner, and it's very saddening, to be honest.
Well, I think maybe, does it have anything to do, I'm just thinking this, like the respect for like mythology that Orthodoxy has. Like I feel like they have more of a respect for mythology, and they understand that the saints are like little Christs, is what they think of them. Like they think of the saints as icons of Christ.
Right? I honestly don't know what it is, to be honest.
Sure.
Because they don't, like, they'll tell you about their lives, but here's the part I was getting to. They don't teach you with their writings. Like the saints have writings. Like Saint Basil wrote a whole book on the relationship between the Holy Spirit. Check
out his name's I'll put a link in the description. The Orthodox, or he's a Catholic, but he teaches a yearly thing, or a summer school of faith, I think it's called. The Summer School of Faith at St. Mary's. I forgot his damn name. I really like him. He's a professor. He basically has a series on the saints and their like relationship to, Christ and the church, essentially. But I'll send you a link to one of those. It's really fucking good.
That's my first point. That's my first point, because this is what happened. I got to this book. It's called the Philokalia. I can't really pronounce it, but it's basically three or four sections books of the Desert Fathers teaching you how to get to theosis. Theosis is complete perfect relationship with God. It means you're literally in a state of divinity 24/7. And that's what our goal is as a Christian, to reach theosis, which means to have a constant relationship with God that is undefiled by sin, which means you're nearly like perfected in God's image. That teaches you how to get there. And the Holy Scriptures, it tells you it, but it doesn't give you like an in-depth teaching on how to do it. And that's why it's so vital. And after I read the first book, I was blown away. I was like, wow, every Orthodox and Catholic should read this book. It should be mandatory in the church. It should be 100%.
Dude, and then read Saint Athanasius's of Alexandria's, Saint Athanasius did the give me 1 second, pull it from the.
Have you read these books that you're recommending though? Have you read them?
Yes.
That's good.
Yeah.
Really good.
Saint Athanasius is it's about it's basically a refutation of the Jews, and a refutation of the Jews and of like philosophers. No problem. Basically like what philosophers get wrong, and what they get right. Like even he talks about like the divinity of the material, and like how divinity is in like basically like every rock and like secret places type deal. But it's called oh gosh, I'll remember it in the course of.
I'm going to send you the book. This one is a specific book. This is the most important writing of the desert of all the saints. And I swear to you, there is nothing higher than this book, because it literally is to get you to theosis. And the saints write a lot of things. Like they write on a lot, but this is the most well needed, if I had to say that. It really is. And I'm just gonna.
Okay. Philokalia.
Yeah. And I have on YouTube, they have an audio version of it, and the book is expensive. That's why like I was struggling to figure out, how to read it, but good old
On the
YouTube.
incarnation. Okay, go ahead.
I know
had to get that out.
that's it on that.
Okay. Yeah. Dude, that's great. Yeah, it is needed in relationship to Christ, and then like other.
Let me tell you this. I have
these
to tell you
books
this.
bring people together.
I'm going to tell you what it is on. It's on the two things. It teaches you about the conscience, which means we all have a conscience, okay? Our conscience is going to tell us what we're like, faltering in. If you cuss, if you're sexually immoral.
For sure.
And that book teaches you how to get over those things. And then it also teaches you about the demons who are tempting you in the process. So it's actually a book on demonology too, which is very fascinating. So
I do really like the saints who like they're in the mystical bent, but they still like they somehow explain it clearly at the same time. Like it's mystical, but you're still getting concepts, like solid, like discrete concepts out of like their writings, and it's really a help. It's really helpful.
Sorry if you see my knife. I'm scratching my back with this. My back is really itchy.
Oh, that's okay. That's okay. No, that's extras. This is daily stuff. Like I have there's all these things that are just like particulars that nobody would even like think about if they're listening to a podcast. But that's almost the most interesting like shit in my opinion. Is just like the small like stuff that you notice that like nobody else would, but everyone understands it's still important. You know what I mean? Like
explain. You're gonna have to explain that a little bit more.
Okay, so everyone like if I have an individual like experience of this pencil, like I it's like just a if I experience the good, right, in my own particular way, but everyone kind of understands the idea of like a good experience. So on that level, like we all have a common, like it's a common trope, like the I guess like the psychological experience of divinity is common across all people, even if like the individual experiences no one will like.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, you can see God's invisible attributes and how good he is just through life, to be honest. It's amazing. Is that what you're talking about?
Pretty much. Yeah.
That's amazing.
And everyone has their like a special kind of like thing with it, but it's all kind of the same also. Like at the
what that happened to me recently, and it happened 2 days ago. What I thought? I thought, how people invent like all these things, like, how we live in the 21st century, technology is crazy good and all that.
Yeah, insane.
Well, here's the thing. Who gave them that knowledge? It's God who gave them that knowledge. And you know what they do? They take pride in it. Like they received it on their own power. They didn't give that to themselves, like God granted that to you. And it's just crazy. It's just crazy.
It's the same trope as the knowledge of the Egyptians. Like there's nothing wrong with it per se, but when it's disconnected from God, like it's wrong, or it's not used. It's impossible for it to be used correctly if it's not connected with like the divine, I guess, or something there. Yeah, it's an odd world, but it's good. I essentially like that's something I decided, and I've been wrestling with, like, is the world good, like essentially, and I'm like, you know what, I think it is, and that's like got me here, and I'm doing like all right. So they're
like, you mean the world, like literally society, like society?
Well, I do think society's good, because it does help hold up like the individual. Like when I feel like I'm gonna like cry, like I know there's something there like farther in that's been like, I think society is built on like Western civilization is built on like the Bible, right? Like that's like, you could say the Greeks, but then like the Greeks and the Romans, but then they fell in Christianity, sort of like they kind of put in their crux of the ideas, and now we have like this active life that everyone like.
Regarding the United States, and I just wanted to say this regarding the United States, because you said Western civil like society and all
Okay.
that.
Yeah.
I love the country. I love to be honest, I love the country and I love every country where there's freedom. However, there's a lot wrong with this country, and I can state my top three, but there is a lot wrong with this country where you can see that the devil is active with his demons. And but that's going to be like that until the second coming of Christ. So nowhere is going to be perfect, but you can see it. Let's just say that you can see where he's doing his works. The devil doesn't rest.
Yeah. And it is, I mean, it's so like so fun, like just like thinking about it. It's like when you think in terms of like eternity, it's like, oh, this is fun, like trying to like set everything like right and think and like make things glorious. It's like, oh, this is just like, it's glorious. This is glorious. Like this is the work we were like meant for. And it's like, holy fuck, like what do I do now? Because it's like, it's finished, but I still have to play a part. Like I still have to play.
Well, I have a question. Like are you like, I don't think I asked this. I could have, and I'm sorry if I forgot. Are you baptized and confirmed, and do you receive communion yet?
No. I talked to a Greek Orthodox church on, when was it? I think it was Tuesday. I walked up and the food not bombs was there, and I thought those were the guys to talk to, but they were just the food for bombs guys. And I asked them, and they're like, oh, they're open at 9, and I wasn't around at 9, but yeah. So that happened Tuesday. So I'm talking to people, I'm talking to people.
See, and that's good. This is something I saw recently, like a lot of Orthodox priests will wait to give you the sacraments, which isn't bad because, they have to see that you're genuine, but at the same time, you're not receiving it for a long time. And they're so vital to your spiritual health. You can't even reach theosis without at least getting baptized. Are you baptized?
Well, okay, so I was thinking not in a church. A Protestant guy baptized me on a beach once, and when I first told you that I didn't get baptized, I forgot about that. But I was like going felt like I was going off the deep end at the moment, and I was just like, all right, let's like I'm ready. And he baptized me, and then I had like fun the rest of the day, fell asleep, and was like, oh wow. Like I remember like an hour later, I was like, oh wow, this is an actual like experience of like.
Do you remember?
Mercy.
Do you remember? Do you remember how he did it?
He said a small, it might have been a very tiny phrase, but it might have been, I remember a tiny phrase having to do, did it have to do with the Trinity? Does that make sense? And then put me underwater, and I felt, yeah, fucking great, like afterwards.
So did he say, I baptize you in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit? Did he say that?
Yes, I
He
believe so.
did?
I do believe so.
Okay. If he said that, the baptism is valid, but if he didn't, then it's not valid.
Okay.
It
So
has to be said in the name of the Trinity.
yeah, I can ask my cousin to verify, but I believe that's what he said.
Yeah, that's what yeah, it sounds valid for sure, because he even did immersion, which is actually a very good thing in the Orthodox Church. They like that a lot, immersion. But yeah, that's good. So you're baptized, I'll say that. So all you got to do is receive the other sacraments. They are very, I mean, you got to get the other ones, but strive for that, because that's going to be your perfection, how you get to theosis.
Yeah,
that's the most
I'm
important thing.
going to talk to him. I really like, I had a life like changing, like I sort of realized like that people don't want the good in their life, or they don't know that they like that they truly want it. Like it just like irritates me how people think, and I'm mentioning this because it was a thought that was pretty poignant, but I was like, oh, thinking about some people in my life who are like, it almost seems like they're denying Christ or the good, like they're denying the beauty of things. And it's like, you're like, why do you want to like it makes life worse when you're not pursuing like the good to the fullest extent. Why aren't you doing like that, like thinking about these?
And see, that's a good calling, because you want them to be saved and you want them to come to the truth.
I want them to be,
but I have to emphasize this. I literally live in an atheistic community. I don't know more than 2 people that are religious that are close to me. I mean, I don't even know a lot of Christians around here. So I experience that a lot. And I will have to say, you always say, I'm here for you if you want to like learn about Christ. And if they do something immoral, always speak out about it. I firmly believe that. And so does the church. But people are going to believe whatever they want to believe, and they have the free will to do that, unfortunately. And it sucks. It really does. But
yeah. And your job is to just like love unfettered, or like love. Like,
well, like for an example,
let's
bring up 2 situations. If you had a friend who was, let's just say he's worshiping Hindu goddesses and everything, okay? That's where I do believe you can preach, but you can also respect their decision to believe whatever they want, and you don't need to judge them to the point where like, oh, I don't like you anymore and all that stuff.
Right.
So
yeah,
you can have a conversation with someone and be respectful about your beliefs. You can present your beliefs in a respectful way. And if they deny it, that's their free decision. That's their free will.
Yeah. Lovely.
Just try not to get annoyed with them, because, not everyone's going to be on the same page. Everyone comes from different backgrounds.
Yeah. I think it had to do with like the closeness to the people. So there was probably even like a dude, like thinking like, if you would just like, if you wouldn't be Jesus.
Can you see me, or do I look like a shadow?
You look like shaded a little bit, like
I don't know why. I have a light on, but it won't.
Like one of those anime like dark characters that are like a Shadow the Hedgehog to Sonic, like one of those.
I don't know why. I'm like the whole shadow, and I can't fix it. I don't know why.
It might. I don't think it has anything to do with me, right?
No, it ain't you. You're fine. It's just I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't. I don't know what to do.
No problem, dude.
Give me 1 second. I'll be right back.
Okay. Yeah. I was just gonna ask you what else you've been doing so you can jog that in your memory. This episode of Change Chat has been brought to you by Snacky S'mores. Yo, I was doing
Sorry. Give me 1 second. I don't feel good. I'm still getting over COVID, and I'm a little nauseous.
Oh yeah, this man got COVID. I forgot about that bit. My God. Some of these. Oh, yo.
I might have thrown
Come
up.
on, Dan.
I'm back. Oh, that was bad. Whew.
What was it? Just a nose blow? Like an epic?
Oh no, I threw up.
Oh man. So were you like nauseous before, or like what was the?
Yeah. I don't know why though.
Dude,
I'm
man.
good though.
So what you been doing? Like.
So I was reading that book, like I said, I was reading the Desert Fathers. Oh, excuse me. And I was reading the Lives of the Saints. What else have I been doing? Oh, I went on a pilgrimage to Mount St. Macrina. Did you ever hear of that place?
Where? What?
Mount St. Macrina.
Not yet. Not until just recently at this moment.
So
exactly.
Oh goodness, man. Give me 1 second. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
I'll be right back. Let me go wash my hands and give me 1 second. Give me one.
Entertaining. That would be. I don't know. But D-Row messaged me on this. Yo.
I'm sorry. I had to do that.
What? Taking like a.
I think I had it on my hands a little bit. I felt so dirty.
No, bro.
Okay, I'm
No
good.
problem.
But anyways,
I love washing my hands, dude. I thoroughly believe it's good for you, and it is. It's like.
Oh yeah, I wash my hands all the time. I can't deal with them being dirty at all.
Dude.
So this is what I did. So there's a place when I was Catholic until I was 18. I even still after, there's a place called Mount St. Macrina. It's a pilgrimage. It was blessed. The area is run by nuns.
When'd you go there?
I went like, I think last week. Yeah, last week or a week and a half ago. But when you go there, there's a whole bunch of monastery sites and you get to go to each one and pray. And there's a liturgy going on over the loudspeaker and you can go, like it's an outside liturgy. And they all meet there, everyone in that area that I'm in, like in the whole area, like the whole state. So that everyone goes to this one area, like, yeah. And it was great. It was amazing. I mean, it was great every year. It's amazing. I totally recommend making a journey to a pilgrimage site. They're amazing.
That's incredible. Like, dude, makes me want to cry.
Oh, and I called an Orthodox monastery about a month ago, and I'm planning on going up to stay with them for like a weekend, like for a couple months.
Oh.
And I want to learn from them about the books that I'm reading.
Dude, I was actually like talking to my brother. I don't know if I'll do it because I love being like I don't know, when I'm out with people, like I'm very much like I very much am like, oh, when I'm out in the world, like I love being around like loving people and just like smiling in people's like faces, whether or not they enjoy it or not. I don't even know what they think I am, but I'm just like, yeah, very much like connected in the world. And I'm like, okay, what do I like stick here, or do I like go to like a monastery? But I still feel like I'm getting closer.
Were you thinking
closer-
that? Like on,
closer
were you
to God.
thinking that?
I was for a moment. I'm not. I was for a moment. I was talking to my brother. I told him, you know what? It's finished. Like I don't feel like I need to be like. I feel like I could be very productive, because there's this idea that the saints like give up their productivity, so to speak. Of course, they write beautiful books and they do like.
What do you mean productivity? What do you
They
mean by
don't
that?
really give up their productivity. They give up their some aspect of their worldliness that other people like.
Oh yeah, that's called the ascetic and the monastic life. I actually was thinking about that for about 3 months now, and it popped out of the blue. That's basically, and it's in the book I just was talking about. It's
Okay.
basically when you give up your bodily desires and give up, like you give up small things to get a bigger thing, which is holiness. Like, so they sacrifice a lot and they have a strict life of prayer and they take extra vows. But yeah, it's very crazy when you get into it.
Yeah. I was thinking about that when I was in the military. I was basically just in for 6 months, and I got out on an honorable discharge for it wasn't called failure to adapt, but that was basically what they did, because I did want to get out, because I was like, oh, this is like not me, was the thought. Sorry,
Yeah,
it was a chord.
I agree to that.
But I could do it now, like just go like just use my balls, for lack of a better word, and just like sprint through it. But I think like there was something in me that didn't like need to, and I was like, no, I'm disciplined. I'm like didn't need to, and so I got honorably discharged and went out. And then I was thinking, while I was there, I had these experiences that just were like pointing towards like spirituality is like the central point of like my being, and I was just like, okay, maybe that's like what I want to like.
You're getting the calling to pursue something higher in life for that.
Yeah. Pretty much.
God's like pushing you a little harder, basically.
Yeah. And now I'm like, oh, what, like, because I had the like experience of like, oh, everything's over, because Christ is returned in some like respect, like it's death's defeated. Now what do I do? Like,
well, that's the thing. Now that's a whole topic, because the Orthodox do not believe that all because Christ died on a cross, salvation is guaranteed. So this is where it comes back to theosis.
Dude, I love it. This is so fun.
This is what we have to do. The book that I was telling you, when you are, okay, right now, we all have sins in our nature right now. So we sin every day, okay? The goal of an Orthodox Christian is to uproot those sins by Christ's power, by the sacraments of the church, uproot those sins, get rid of them. And when you get rid of them all, your conscience is clear, which goes back to the conscience. Your conscience is clear. And that means you have a perfect unity with God, and you're in a state of the angels. You're in a divine, immortal state. But you cannot achieve that while you're sinful. You have to reach theosis. That is salvation. That is guaranteeing salvation. It doesn't mean that Christ won't save you if you don't reach theosis. It's just saying that is the guarantee of salvation, which is theosis.
Man, it just makes you think about experience. Like, it can be so good all the time if you want it to like be, and you're like willing to like put in the like manpower or like the God power.
It takes a lot of effort. You have to put a lot of personal time in to study this stuff, to learn about it, to pray about it, to actually like ponder upon it. It's a lot.
Absolutely. It takes a lot of like time. It like it's something you devote your entire like being to. Like,
you have to, and there is no way to reach holiness without that, unless you're blessed with not a lot of sinful, natural problems. But even then, you're still sinful in some way, and you have to fix it through Christ. That's the goal of a Christian, Orthodox Christian, technically.
Yeah, and thank God there's good people in community that you can like speak to. Like, it's like such a blessing, man. I don't even know.
And see, can I be honest? This is where I gotta vent to this to you. Let me vent something to you. Okay. This is the problem. If you speak to a Protestant, okay, or you speak to a Catholic, okay, they think so highly of themselves. Like, or even if you speak to a lot of people, they think so highly of themselves. They think how great they are. You're only great when you hit theosis, or you're nothing, literally. Even if you get the 7 sacraments tomorrow, even I have the 7 sacraments. I'm nothing if I'm not in theosis, and I'm not in theosis yet. So, and it even says, actually, I think that's in Timothy, and Christ even says that it doesn't matter if you prophesize, cast out demons, do whatever. If you are not in holiness, it doesn't matter. And that's where Protestants annoy me, because they think they have it all because Christ died on a cross. No, you guys aren't working for it. You guys don't have the Holy Spirit. You don't have confirmation. You don't have that. You only got baptism. You don't have communion. You don't have any special union with God. You have a relationship with him, but you don't have his sanctification. By definition, they don't. And it's sad.
Dude, that's
Catholics do. Catholics do. But they still, and this is the thing. When I was a Catholic, they did not educate you on the fathers of the church, and they did not teach you on theosis. They believe in theosis, but they don't teach you about it.
Yeah,
and
I never heard.
They do not teach you how to get there.
Yep. I never heard a word of theosis from Catholics, like, ever in my life, and that's like, it's like I don't judge that. I'm just like, I never heard like, I guess like personally, like, I want to focus on like the good. Like, I don't want to just point out their flaw, but yeah, theosis is.
Oh no, and I always say this. I always say this. The Catholic Church has apostolic succession, so they can still obtain theosis. They have valid sacraments. They do have the Holy Spirit when they're confirmed.
Sure.
But the thing is, I'm a wretched sinner, but I studied under a priest for over 8 years, dude. I went to college classes. I was about to go to the seminary. No one taught you how to reach theosis. They don't even put the concept in your head. That is a shame on the church as a whole. It's not on the parishioners, but it's the fact that they remove that from their lessons when the apostles taught that.
It wasn't.
The fathers taught that
in the program. Yeah. It wasn't like explicitly kept in the program, basically.
They didn't even tell you about toll houses. They didn't tell you about toll houses. They didn't tell you about theosis. They don't go in depth with the Desert Fathers. You know what they do? They stick with Thomas Aquinas, the newer ones, who absolutely do not offer anything valid because it's already there. It's already talked about. You had saints for over 1,500 years talking about this stuff, and St. Thomas Aquinas comes around, and the Catholic Church thinks he's a great doctor of the church.
Yeah, they just like their scholars, like the Catholic Church just
They like their
loves
philosophers and their scholars and
their
all that.
scholarly colors. Yeah, they're fun, but they're like
I love the Catholic Church, though. I have to emphasize that. I
Mhm.
still love it.
So you've read who you were reading the Philokalia
Mhm.
by
That's by a lot of people, by a lot of Desert Fathers. They're all in there. They're all in there. And then I read St. Basil's The Great on the Holy Spirit. But you know what the funny thing is? It's not about the Holy Spirit. So I don't get why it's called
read that.
because it's verily, it doesn't even go into that. It's supposed to be about the relationship between the Son and the Father, a majority of it. So I don't get why it's called on the Holy Spirit.
Maybe it has something to do with like the Father and the Son. Like is there any idea that the Father and the Son like combine to equal, like, or when they're present, you know, the Holy Spirit is like they combine to equal the Holy Spirit, or is that
You would have to read it, but it doesn't get into it like that. I thought it was something like that, to be honest, too. I thought it was like, you know, more on the nature of the Holy Spirit and the relationship. No, it's nothing like that. It's
Cool.
just a defense on heresies at that time.
Okay, love it. I'll read that and like tell you.
I read that. I read the one. I only read one part of the three, the Philokalia, or however.
On the Incarnation, I feel like you're ready for that for sure, for sure. That's
What do you mean
Saint
on the
Athanasius. His treatise on the Incarnation is really something, man. Really something. I would highly recommend that one.
I just remembered something. You know what I realized during prayer?
Mhm.
So this just popped into my head. So I obviously believe this was God throwing something in my head. So you know how we take Holy Communion and we believe that's the body and blood of Christ. Okay. Okay. So this popped in my head and it's crazy, dude. So Christ came from Mary, right? So by definition, or by a scientific standpoint, if we partake of Christ's body and blood, that is literally Mary's body and blood because her genes are in it.
Oh, that makes sense.
So how the heck are Protestants not going to venerate Mary when literally we partake of Mary too?
Right. Well, because he did actually develop in her like actual womb.
He has her blood. Her blood is in him, and his physical traits are there too. I mean, it's crazy if you think about it. When I thought about that, I felt so much more connected to Mary. It was crazy.
Dude, I love it. I love it, dude. I was freaking, yeah, dude. I was like, I walked the streets the other night just because I had nowhere to sleep, and I was like, just like in Santa Cruz. Oh, hold on one second, Dan.
Yeah, you're good.
There was mom. There was mother. Motherly. What's she saying? That they're going to space. I don't even fucking.
Speaking of space, I've been dealing with that. So, do you believe in aliens?
Yes. Unfortunately, it's caused me a lot of havoc. It's caused me a lot of havoc mentally, but it's fun to like. It's fun. Like that's people like if you ask why I believe in aliens, I'm like, it's so deep seated. You can't ask me that question because it's like I just like love the like concept of sitting under the stars and like watching for something. Like I could do that for years and just be like totally like I could just do that for a living if they would pay me, but I don't know who.
So I don't hate the concept of believing in aliens, but I hate when people believe in aliens above God and they believe that the facts with aliens override the facts with God. That's what I don't like. Like if you believe in aliens, you should be believing in God too. That's the thing.
Okay, so people who believe like aliens have like a conception of reality that goes beyond God because maybe like for whatever reason. Like
no, people, if you believe in aliens, you're saying that there's enough tangible facts out there that prove that aliens exist, or you go by a faith standpoint. Whatever the reason is, there's more tangible factual proof of God. There's more historical proof of God. God was actually on this earth, and it keeps going. But if you don't believe in God or don't believe a creator exists, then you're putting more faith in aliens. That's the thing.
Yep.
But it's not bad. I don't think it's bad to believe in them. So I just have to say that too.
Yeah. Whatever.
I don't personally believe in them, but it's fine to believe in them.
Yeah.
They could be there. I have to say they could be there. Like I'm not going to be shocked if they just pop up one day. I'll say that. Yeah.
I mean, what was I thinking? Like I've been thinking way like conceptually about like just reality, like, oh, what's real? Is it all just like, is it psychological? Is it mental? Is it the physical? Like what's the most real thing? And I'm like, okay, my mentality is the most real. It seems like my attitudinal disposition towards like my surroundings seems like one of the most important things like that I can like control. And but then I was thinking also about like time and how like time, like, okay, what came before the Big Bang? Was time as a concept still there, or did time have to wait for the Big Bang to happen before it came into existence? Like, because God's supposed to be around for time eternal, right? So like, did the Big Bang was God before the Big Bang? Did he
God has no point of creation, which means God was always there. God doesn't have like a first start.
So you know what that means is that literally we will be recreated in this exact same form eventually, because time keeps going, right? For eternity, right? Time keeps going for eternity. So this exact composition of matter mathematically has to happen infinity amount of times. And all the other possibilities have to like happen for infinity. Does that make any logic? Logically, if time like
the thing is, here's the thing. The thing is, I mean, it makes sense. It doesn't not make sense, but if you just go to the book of Revelation, it kind of gives you all the answers. You know what I mean?
There we go.
It's like a cheating step. It's just a cheat step, if we're being honest, because you know what's going to happen. If you read Revelation enough and you put an actual timeline to it and you put up the historical events with it, it's like, holy crap. It's like, it takes a lot, but once you read it enough, it comes clear.
So is the different aspects, and I'll just ask this as a layman who hasn't studied Revelation a lot. I feel like I've like experienced like apocalyptic sensation in my own like body or in my uh, thoughts or like imaginings, right? Like experiencing like apocalypse and things, like just like the sense of like that sort of like aesthetic thing. But is every aspect of Revelation supposed to be like a composite of like some aspect of reality, and it's all just like laid out in one like?
Yeah, and here's the thing. This is something that actually annoys me with a lot of Christians is when they say that, you know, Genesis and Revelation are supposed to be taken in a poetry sense and not as a literal sense. That is the biggest BS I will ever say right there, because there is no way you can read Revelation and say it's not a timeline, because it is a timeline. It literally is mapped out like a timeline. Only one time does it skip, like not skip, but like it moves off track. And it's when St. Michael's in heaven with you know, Satan, and they're fighting. That happened before, obviously, the end of the world. But that's the only time it gets off track. It literally goes through the seals perfectly and everything. It's a blueprint. So for anyone to say that, don't ever believe that. And as for Genesis, it speaks literally. Like it's not in a poetry setting like Psalms and Proverbs, which they still give you knowledge. Like Proverbs is the wisdom book. It gives you knowledge on morality and how God's wisdom is. So even if it's poetry, it doesn't mean it's not literal at the same time. I have to say that too. But yeah. So it's very literal. I take it very literal. Very literal.
Have you ever heard the conception that like the Orthodox service is supposed to be like based on Revelation? Like it's supposed to like go
the whole
through
thing?
It's supposed to go through the whole thing. Like it's a physical like I'll have to show you the like it's going through Revelation, I believe, is what
I think it goes through. I know it goes through the whole gospel because it goes through like it in a map sense, but hit Revelation maybe after communion when the priest comes out. That might be it. Yeah, it's probably in there. Yeah, I could. I mean, I wouldn't be shocked or anything.
Sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
That's pretty cool though. I didn't know it was actually in there, to be honest, but I'm not shocked.
So rich. It's so rich. There's nothing more rich that I've like than like an Orthodox service, like just like the thoughts that like go through your mind are eternal. Like every single one of them is like eternity, like just in a capsule, like in your mind. Like it's like.
And see, I don't get how people can compare Orthodoxy to Protestantism or Catholicism. It's like on a whole different level, and it's easily like noticeable. I mean, you can't walk in, like you can just compare them and be like, duh, in a sense. I mean, I did that at 12, and I'm not trying to be like, you know, prideful when saying that. As a 12-year-old, I compared Orthodoxy to Protestantism to Catholicism, and it came down to Orthodoxy and Catholicism because they made the most sense. Protestantism makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. Sense whatsoever.
Dude, I'll have to show you more videos I've come across. But you're part of SMO now, right? The Discord server I sent you a little link.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I don't really go on there because I've been a little bit busy with school though. So I'm on other things. So I've been really busy lately.
Sure.
I'm just now getting back on Instagram a lot.
Yeah, I was thinking about talking to you about social media a little bit, and maybe like, maybe we'll like save that for next time we talk, if you want to do it again, because I think like I heard one guy say like you can't underestimate the power of like God to do amazing like things using, and that means using like social media in a sense. Like that means using like just life, like using life for like benefit.
God is still going to bring it's actually in Proverbs 17, and there's another one in 16, actually. Yes, 17, Proverbs 17.
Mhm.
Even if something actually, you know how people will come up to you and say, why does suffering happen? Why does World War II happen? All this stuff. That's a big question with atheists. And I never even had the answer. And guess what happened? I read one verse in the Bible and it answered it. It's Proverbs. Actually, let me bring up the exact verse. It is Proverbs. It is Proverbs 16:4-6. And this is what it says. It says that the Lord has made all for himself, even the wicked for the day of doom. And there's other verses, but the point is that God made everything for his will. So even if something bad happens, he's going to make sure it fits to his will, no matter what.
Right.
And he's going to bring good out of it.
That's what like kept me that's what kept me okay. Like I know that my like heart's like, it's like, oh, everything like is going to be like okay. Like if you work, like if you work, things are going to be like, and even, but it was like everything is going to be okay because like that was like.
And it's true, because right now, God forbid, if there was an earthquake in China right now, in the end, God willed it to happen. It's gonna happen. So it's like you have to go along with it in a sense and have faith. God's going to get you through it in the best way he knows possible, or that he knows. It's very hard to have faith to that high of a degree, though.
Yeah. But that's also like involves like a sense of like sadness also, like, oh, this like like almost like the idea of like, oh, could go no other like way. Of course, like you should be active and like think about things like a lot, but it's like, oh, some things just like are, and it's like, oh, that's like part of like just the sense of like sadness that comes with like full acceptance of reality, maybe.
No, you're right. You're absolutely right on that.
But yeah, bro. So I want to talk to you about Kierkegaard at some point. Do you know Kierkegaard at all? Soren Kierkegaard. He was a Danish philosopher, and he was really cool. I would check out Kierkegaard. I love him. But yeah. At some point, I think I should probably get some sleep, like go relax, and I'm like smoking now, so that sucks. Like cigarettes. I'll probably quit like I'm like, I want to quit tomorrow. But it's one of those things you just have to like.
Yeah, try not to get hooked on those. Those are worse than anything, if anything.
Yeah.
They're bad. But you know what you should do? Make a list of questions, and if you have any questions, let me know.
Look, man. Yeah.
But just try, if I had to leave you with something, because I got to motivate you in my own way, bug a priest about the 7 sacraments. You got to get communion, you got to get confirmed, and you have to go to church on Sundays, or they're not going to do it.
Listen to Daniel. He's the man. No, yeah. Listen to God's calling, maybe, or listen to
and read the Desert Fathers. Read that book, and I sent you the link, and the other ones are there. It's like an audio. That's the instruction manual on how to get holy, how to get there. So it's like once you start going to church, reading the scriptures and reading that, you're going to be set, man. And then you figure out if you want to get married or be a priest or be a monk.
Yeah.
That's later down the road.
I was thinking about it, but dude, that's for sure. We will fucking talk later then. Yeah, I gotta sleep, but yeah, I love you, man. You're good guy to talk to for
Thanks,
sure. And yeah, have a good night.
You have a good night too. I'll talk to you later, okay?
All right. I'm at